Welcome back to part two of a fantastic test match in St Lucia. England are in the West Indies, 2019. Mark Wood, blowing the West Indies away, talks about how he celebrated and then getting his Man of the Match award.
Keeper Harmison gets his reward. Been a brilliant spell of bowling. Harmison bowled a superb opening spell.
5 wickets for Stephen Harmison. Stephen Harmison, take a bow.
You mentioned a tired West Indies side and Jimmy Anderson, the great Jimmy Anderson. You know, people wanting to understand what Jimmy was like. Well, he was constantly striving to make himself better. And that's a great story. Going in the middle of it. And he would have had about 500 test match wickets at the time, changing his run up to get it. And it paid dividend because, the West Indies were 10 for 2. Brathwaite and Campbell both gone. Anderson getting both wickets. And then you come on to bring, and get Shai Hope out. How was the second innings for you after the emotional roller coaster of the first 2 days of getting into the team and then performing as you did in the first innings? What was it like emotionally and body-wise in the second innings?
It was fine. I was fine. I thought I bowled okay. I obviously didn't have the same impact. I think, if anything, I was probably a bit mentally fatigued just because the high of the first innings. If anything, that's all I can put it down to. But I think, maybe I just didn't perform as well as I did the first innings. But I got Shai Hope, who's Shai Hope, for them, the number 3. So it was nice to get him again with one that he sort of fended to extra cover, like he sort of jumped back and sliced. It was a weird dismissal. And I remember saying to Brodie before the game, we were talking about how unlucky he was at Antigua. And he says, I would love just a caught point or, a chip to square leg. I says, oh, mate, tell us about it. I never get wickets like that. And he was like, oh, me neither. And then all of a sudden that game, I got a weird wicket spliced to extra cover. And Brodie says, well, that's what happens when, you're bowling as quickly as you have. You'll get people do daft things because the adrenaline's going, the beans are going, whatever you want to call it. And the place a daft shot. So, I didn't quite feel as good. I didn't quite bowl as good, but I felt all right. I mean, I felt in that game, I remember specifically coming out and Chris Silverwood Spoons had said to us, you got wickets for Moeen Ali. So I bombed or bounced Kemar Roach a couple of times. He gloved one just over the wicketkeeper, hit him in the shoulder. And then the very next over, he tries to slog Mo and gets out extra cover. And a couple of the other tail enders. And Spoons had said, look, I know you'll be disappointed you only got 1 wicket, but don't underestimate the impact that you had bowling from your end and the fact that, you've getting wickets for other people. So that was nice of him to say that. Maybe I didn't feel, or maybe I wasn't as threatening as the first innings, but a game that I won't forget.
Is that a lesson that you possibly needed to learn, or it's a good bit of advice to a young up-and-coming fast bowler that you might not get the wickets in the W column, but your overall contribution to what's happening in the game, around the game, is so valuable to keep your pace up, to keep being aggressive. Even if you're going for the odd boundary, you might not get the wickets in your column, but as a team, you'll get them in others.
Yeah, and that's something I think I've getting better at as my career's gone on, not focusing on outcome too much. But like you say, as a part of a unit, you all have different rules, different things you're trying to do. And it's how you bowl as a collective. We talk a lot, actually, in team meetings at the minute about passing your spell on, not, finishing your spell with trying to go for those magic balls and getting wickets, but, working for the guy that's going to come on, helping the guy that's bowling at the other end to you. What's your plans? Everybody understanding what we're trying to do as a team. And that was that game was probably evident for that for me. And as a player that, was always striving to get that monkey off his back, or, striving to get that career high, or feeling part of it, or, get the wickets that I needed to get. The second innings, because I'd get them in the first innings, I was a bit more at ease. I wasn't trying to search for things. I wasn't trying to make things happen too much. And I think whereas probably before that in my career, I'd always tried to strive to make an impact or feel like I belonged. In that second innings, I walked off there, and it was nice for Spoons to say that to me. And I walked off there thinking, we did a great job as a team, and I was a major part of that.
And Moeen Ali, he got a couple of wickets, and then the Magic Man, he just comes back and does it again and again and again. When everybody's tired, he seems to find a little bit of energy, because there was a little bit of a partnership in the lower order. And Ben Stokes, and he's going through the troubles that we hope that he will see him again and see him very, very soon. But he come to finish the game off, and just a little bit about Ben finishing the game, but also about Ben Stokes, the character, because you've played the majority of your career with Ben, and the fantastic contribution that guy gives to whatever team he plays in, whether it's Durham or whether it's England or whether it's Rediscovered Royals.
I think that's important what you just said right at the end there, is the contribution he gives to every team. So he will give 100%, whether he's playing, at home in Cumbria, for Cockermouth, whether he's playing for Durham, whether he's playing for England, Rajasthan, whoever it is, Stokes, he'll give 100% every time. His preparation, in practice, sometimes you think, just ease it back a gear here, Stokesy, but that's not who he is. He will do diving catches, one-handers, all in prep for that one moment in the field that he can be brilliant. And the thing that probably sets him, apart, where people actually can see it, is, when things are tough, he's the one that wants to make the difference. It takes more than just skill, and things like that in those moments. Sometimes when it's hard and it's tough, it takes, a bit of guts, a bit of mental, toughness, and he's got that in abundance. And never ever give up attitude. If they needed 5 to win, he'd still think we could do it, and bowl them out. In that game, I remember actually he'd been a bit unlucky in the fact that he's a bowler that seems to go to third man an awful lot, just with the angle of his arm, and people are constantly thinking it's coming into them, and he gets it to hold up, and they get a little sort of nick on it to the guy to third man, and we always joke about it. And in that game, it was like, right, don't let that happen in this game. Get this wrapped up, and let's get us off the field. And he just finds a way. He's almost better at times when the ball swings more than when it does less. His control of the swinging ball is amazing, and people can't forget either that he can bowl fast as well. So he's got loads of things in his locker that he can pull out, and a fantastic. When I finished my career, and some of the players you mentioned, Jimmy, Brodie, Stokesy, Rooty, Cookie, like I could say that I've played with some of the best players we've ever had, and honestly, it's class.
And you win the game. Ben gets the last wicket. I think he gets Kemar, Paul, caught and bowled. And the celebration, the overriding emotion and celebration, I think we've had because of what you had after the first innings. You get man of the match, and I can remember coming over. You came over straight across the TalkSport team. I got a cuddle. Coffee got a cuddle. Was that because you passed the comment in that press conference that I now feel as I belong in the England cricket team, where before you didn't feel that way? Just elaborate on what you meant by that.
I just felt that I was maybe trying too hard to be part of the team. I was in and out. I didn't feel like an England cricketer. I felt like deep down I was, but I hadn't shown people what I could do. I hadn't shown, the potential that I maybe had. And I felt like I was always just on the outside, or I wasn't quite up to the standard. I wasn't showing the standard that was required. So to then get that 5 wickets under my belt, it was a relief, a weight off my shoulders. And I felt like I belonged in the England team. I felt like, today I can go back to the hotel with my head held high, like I've made a difference. I've been a match winner. And it's not just 1 wicket, but it was the spell. And I felt like, I belonged. Obviously, people like yourself know what I go through, and because I speak to you on a personal level. So it was nice to give you, Goffy, people that I'd looked up to growing up, a nice big cuddle, and see you two smiling and really happy for me. And of course, I got that massive check that I didn't let go of for 3 weeks, and a free sandals holder, so I don't know who was happier, me or
You know, the
or
free
the missus.
sandals holder, the big check, the cuddle to me and to Goffey. You know, you got all eight overs, 8.2 overs, 5 for 41 to announce yourself back into the international game. Mark, thanks very much for joining us on A Test of Time. It's been great going back over great memories, and I'm sure there'll be plenty more to come for the rest of your career.